Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the May 29th, 2025 special meeting of the North Bend City Council. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Jocelyn,
Present.
Councilmember Brendan Elwood, Councilmember Alan Gothelf,
Present.
Councilmember Heather Colin,
Here.
Councilmember Christina Rustick,
Present.
Councilmember Suzanne Torgerson. Is she's expected to be here?
She's expected.
Okay.
I believe she's expecting.
And Councilmember Errol Tremolata.
Here.
All council members are present with the exception of Councilmember Torgerson.
Thank you. We will now recess the meeting for an executive session to discuss potential litigation pursuant to RCW 42-30-1101I. The executive session is expected to last 20 minutes, and recording of the meeting will pause at this time. The meeting will resume when we return to council chambers. Action may follow.
Mayor, if I could note that Councilmember Torgerson has arrived for the record.
For the record, Councilmember Torgerson has joined us and is present. Thank you. Back from executive session. If any members of the audience would like to comment on this agenda item or any other point, we would invite you to come forward to the podium at this time. If you have requested accommodation with the city clerk and wish to speak, please raise your hand through the virtual platform and we will take your comments after in-person comments. Please remember to state your name and address for the record, and if you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing no one coming forward, Phil or Aaron, do we have anyone attending remotely that has virtually raised their hand?
Not at this time.
Oh, please come forward.
Good afternoon, Council. I was going to let residents and public come here. My name is Catherine Cotton, Railroad Avenue or Railroad Place in Snoqualmie. I just wanted to come forward and restate, as I have said to several of you, that we are all in trying to do the right thing as far as public safety. I know that is first and foremost on everybody's mind, and between our two communities, and certainly work towards a smooth transition between both of our cities while there's a change in police service. The one thing I would like to stress is that in order for our officers to be able to perform their duties, that we want to, by whatever means possible, confer the police authority to them so that they can continue here in North Bend. And I think that's really what's first and foremost on everybody's mind. The rest can wait till later if we need to. But if we can do that before the June 1st deadline, that would be so awesome. And it would certainly prevent any legal mishaps with the prosecutors not, perhaps prosecuting cases if they didn't have that authority of things that happened here in North Bend. So I appreciate your time and consideration. I know this is not an easy transition we're all going through. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? And then no one online? Thank you. Councilmember Elwood, would you please make the motion?
Yes, Your Honor. And to provide a little context for our public, we received an updated proposal from the city of Snoqualmie 2 days ago, and I would like to submit a revised version for council to consider today. And my motion is as follows. I move to authorize the Mayor Pro Tem to sign interim agreement between the city of Snoqualmie and the city of North Bend regarding police services as proposed by the city of Snoqualmie, with one revision to section 11A to read as follows. To maintain the status quo of police services, the parties agree that the following sections of the 2019 renewal agreement are in effect. Section 21, 22, 2-7, 2-8, 2-9, 11-11, 11-12, 11-13, and 11-14. The parties reserve the rights to enforce provisions of the 2019 renewal agreement not herein identified. This will remain in effect until terminated with 60 days' notice. While this agreement is effective, the City of North Bend will pay the City of Snoqualmie $219,849 each month to maintain the status quo. The City of North Bend acknowledges this amount may be challenged by the City of Snoqualmie. Thank you, Your Honor.
Second the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Elwood, would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. In 2019, the City of Snoqualmie and the City of North Bend entered into an agreement for police services. And in 2025, these two cities entered into a short-term 2025 renewal. At that time, both cities agreed and understood that the 18-month termination provision contained in the 2019 agreement would survive. We have emails between the cities confirming that understanding. A long termination notice is necessary when transitioning police services. Now, after we selected King County to move forward in providing our police services, the City of Snoqualmie is challenging their understanding of the 2025 renewal, giving us very little time or notice to respond. We have received 2 proposed ILAs from the City of Snoqualmie, again, with very little time to react. We have been told that they are, quote, take it or leave it, and given 24 hours to accept. However, the terms of the proposed interim agreements are not fairly written. Thus, I would propose consideration and acceptance of an interim agreement between the City of Snoqualmie and the City of North Bend regarding police services. It is a 2-page document. I would move that we, and I just did, that we authorize the Mayor Pro Tem to sign this agreement with one modification to Section 2A, which read as follows. To maintain the status quo of police services, the parties agree that following sections of the 2019 renewal agreement are in effect: 2.1, 2.2, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9, 2.11, 2.12, 2.13, and 2.14. The parties reserve the rights to enforce provisions of the 2019 renewal agreement not herein identified. This will remain in effect until the terminated 60 days notice. While this agreement is effective, the City of North Bend will pay the City of Snoqualmie $219,849 each month to maintain the status quo. The City of North Bend acknowledges this amount may be challenged by the City of Snoqualmie. I've read it twice to have better impact. This revision maintains the status quo as intended, provides the parties a 60-day termination opportunity, and solidifies the payment the City of North Bend will be making while this interim agreement is effective. I hope you all support my motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Elwood. Mr. Godhelf, would you care to comment?
I support everything my fellow council members stated. It is sad that we're at this point and that we had to do a special session for something that was clearly delineated when we talked about the contract, when we did the RFP. I want to make it clear, our issues are not with the officers. The officers have performed exemplary during the time that they've been part of this city and providing a service. I want to commend them for their efforts and hope that we continue to work through this as we transitioned into King County. Again, the issues that we are having right now continue to fracture our relationship within the valley as 2 cities. And I hope that at some point we can come together and understand and work together as opposed to being adversarial as we have been for the last few months. Thank you.
Councilmember Jamalata.
Yeah, quickly here. So we have moved forward over the last 15 months with a full and comprehensive process to provide the best police services for our residents here in North Bend. The foundation of that effort was based on our longstanding contract with Snoqualmie, which has always included a wind down provision of 18 months. Our expectation was and still is that any transition would include an 18-month period for not only the benefit of our citizens in North Bend, but also for our neighbors in Snoqualmie. It would be unreasonable to think that a police organization could pivot operations effectively, safely, and appropriately without some level of reasonable runway. On May 8th, Snoqualmie provided a public press release in where the mayor of Snoqualmie acknowledged, and I'll quote, "The city of Snoqualmie is committed to working cooperatively with North Bend and King County throughout the transition process. As of May 8th, Snoqualmie has not received a formal notice of termination of the ILA." A mere 21 days ago, Snoqualmie acknowledged that a formal notice of termination of the ILA was required. On May 20th, this council voted to authorize the notice of termination. We took a recess during that exact meeting to transmit that formal communication and notice to Snoqualmie that night. For some reason, Snoqualmie feels differently this week, and on May 27th at 6:12 p.m., we were sent a letter from the mayor of Snoqualmie acknowledging that they would not serve North Bend as of June 1st without a new ILA, which is in direct conflict with the 18-month termination provision from the original ILA. This does not track any of the logic, reasoning, nor negotiations that have transpired over the last 15 months, nor is it aligned with the mayor of Snoqualmie's very own press release on May 8th. With that said, public safety is this council's top priority, and we are determined to find a path forward to continue working toward a safe and responsible transition of services from Snoqualmie to King County. I will support the motion with the understanding that we will find common ground to mutually benefit our residents and the residents in Snoqualmie who deserve the time to appropriately right-size their police services for the future.
Councilmember Torgerson.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. All right. By law, Washington state cities have to give at least 24 hours notice before holding a special city council meeting. That notice includes time, place, and topics and must be posted publicly, usually at City Hall or on a website. It's all part of the Open Public Meetings Act, which ensures transparency and gives the community a chance to stay informed and involved in local decisions. Snoqualmie Mayor Ross did not follow the Open Public Meetings Act this week because the city of North Bend received after 6 p.m. on Tuesday, May 27th, 2 days ago, a letter from Mayor Ross stating that unless North Bend signed a new agreement by May 28th, that's the next day, Snoqualmie will cease all police services to North Bend as of 12 a.m. on June 1st. City councils cannot vote on anything unless we have Open Public Meeting Act. So we cannot do that in a work study. We cannot do that in executive session. And I know that Mayor Ross knows this. North Bend needed 24 hours to schedule a special city council meeting, which is why the council is meeting today. We met today at 3 p.m., but we had to have an executive session before. The ultimatum that she made as a clear attempt to put pressure on North Bend to abandon the existing contract terms that we have and accepting a new agreement under duress. And in that new contract, if we were to give our mayor authority to sign, we would say that the current contract is not valid, which we believe the current contract is still valid. Why would we go and say that it's not valid? Also, under the current contract, North Bend is to receive vehicles and equipment fund that we've been putting money in for years. This is North Bend's money. In this new contract that she provided to us, it states that North Bend will no longer receive the vehicles or the equipment fund monies. The City of North Bend currently has a contract with the City of North Bend, the 2019 interlocal agreement for police services. The 18th month holdover in that contract is a binding contractual safeguard. The 2019 agreement was extended in January, and the 2025 renewal is a part of the 2019 agreement. Once the 2019 agreement is terminated, the 18th month holdover period starts. And we did that, as Councilmember Tremolata just stated. Police contracts have these holdover periods because the new service provider needs time to hire officers and get their equipment ordered. As well, the previous police contractor needs time to transition down. In the 2019 interlocal agreement for police services, both cities agreed that the termination includes the 18th month holdover period. That clause was designated to provide stability and continuity of service, allowing time for both cities to plan and transition without compromising public safety. North Bend honored this agreement by issuing its required 18th month notice. The May 27th letter from Snoqualmie Mayor Ross basically was pressuring us to sign something new under the threat of abruptly ending police services. Here's as a summary. Well, I don't need to give the summary. the concern is then we received another agreement, and that's why we had an executive session today, is to consider something new that we received on Tuesday, which is, again, just 2 days ago. So now what I would say is we've done this analysis, and I agree with Councilmember Elwood's motion, and I would go ahead and pass that. Back to you.
Other council, Councilmember Rustick.
Yes, thank you. First, I'd just like to thank the staff for all of your work to get us here. This was not anything that any of us wanted or expected, but as my colleagues have indicated, the transition from Snoqualmie was planned for an 18-month period, and we didn't anticipate being here. While I am angered and disappointed with where we are today, the safety of our citizens and our business is the most important part of this decision today. And we need to allow King County the time to move forward in a manner that will make them successful. And that's extremely critical. So therefore, I'm going to be voting yes on this amended motion by Councilmember Elwood. So thank you.
Councilmember Colon, any comments?
I will try. It's very loud where I am right now, so I'm going to be quick about it. But we have been working on this a long time. We all did believe in the 18-month transition period, and we all are under duress with these last-minute decisions by the Snoqualmie mayor. I want to let the North Bend residents know that everything we're doing is to ensure that we have the services we need to keep our community safe, and that is our number one priority. And we want to do this while we go through this transition. So I will be voting for this, and thank you.
Thank you. I will offer my comments at this time. First of all, has been noted, maintaining public safety is paramount to this council and all of us gathered here. There isn't any question about that. We continue to act as best we can in the best interest of our constituents. Members of this council clearly are incredibly disappointed in the public announcement from Snoqualmie Mayor Catherine Ross provided by the city's legal counsel at 6:10 p.m. this previous Tuesday. The mayor asserted that starting in 3 days from now, this coming Sunday, June 1st, and I quote, Snoqualmie will no longer be able to legally provide police services to North Bend. I would only point out that at the end of 2024, we had in place an interlocal agreement that lapsed. And yet we did not receive threats of not picking up the phone were residents to call and request police services. These two bodies were able to put in place an interim interlocal agreement, and it took almost a month for that to take place. So what has changed between then and now, such that all of a sudden, we are frankly being threatened with a lack of police services, which we believe solidly we are under contract to receive. The assertion by the mayor stands in stark contrast, both in tone and substance, as was pointed out by a fellow council here, that the May 8th news release posted on the official City of Snoqualmie website, wherein the Snoqualmie City Administration states, quote, the City of Snoqualmie is committed to working cooperatively with North Bend and King County throughout the transition process. As of May 8th, Snoqualmie has not received a formal notice of termination of the ILA, which was subsequently acted upon at our March 20th council meeting. But certainly the acknowledgement at that point in time that a termination notice was required suggests to me certainly that we were continuing to operate with a common understanding of the governing documents for this relationship. The North Bend City Council voted unanimously on May 20th to issue a notice of termination for police services to Snoqualmie as required by the interlocal agreement between the two cities. The May 8th City of Snoqualmie news release clearly acknowledges the need for the termination notice, indicating at that point in time the administration in Snoqualmie recognized and planned to honor the longstanding ILA between the two cities. I will also note that in January, as I've noted, the 2019 AL lapsed, yet this did not prompt threats of withholding police services. offering no time for an orderly transition and threatening North Bend, its businesses and residents with a denial of police response by the administration in Snoqualmie goes to the heart of why the North Bend City Council voted unanimously on May 8th to part ways and build a new relationship with the King County Sheriff's Office going forward. None of us wanted to find ourselves in this situation, and yet here we are. I too will be voting in support of the motion that's been brought forward today. I'm happy to entertain another round of questions.
Mayor Pro Tem, if I could, City Administrator Larson,
I see here Mayor Miller is also available to comment. Mayor, would you like to share your comments?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. First of all, may I say to Mayor Pro Tem, Mark Jocelyn, thank you so much for stepping up tonight and once again leading the meeting. I was pulled out of town on a regular vacation, so I wish I could be there, but I'm doing all I can to support from a long distance, of course. Secondly, I want to thank our staff for the undaunted level of work you've been going through over the last many months, and certainly this last week with the onslaught of last minute information coming our way since this week began. So, and then to council, thank you so much for your in-depth analysis, your care and concern about where we head in the direction for the best efforts for our city and our businesses' protection going forward. Thank you for all the efforts there. I think that the way that you're supporting this 2B tonight makes total sense to me. So I will support whatever you all choose to do anyway, despite it all. But my hope is that in the future that we can work potentially better with our city of Snoqualmie. I'm not going to give up, but I really wish that we can start the whole process now as far as just opening the door to better communication in hopes that all communities are served well going in the future. Thank you once and all for everybody's efforts, and I sure appreciate you. Everybody have a safe and great night. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mark.
We'll go another round of comments from council. Councilmember Elwin.
More of a procedural thing, just make sure that I'm covering bases. I do have the agreement has been placed before you on the table, just for a note of public record. Thank you.
Any additional comments from council? The only item on our agenda was Agenda Bill 25-02 to discuss the provision of police services. Is there a motion on the floor?
Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor before us. At this point, we'll proceed to a vote. I'll check with legal counsel that we're in good stead here. All right, I will be calling all in favor of approving the motion before us at this time, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
So we have 6 ayes and 1 opposed.
No.
Mayor, if I could clear.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. My understanding is we have voted unanimously in favor of the motion before us.
I just want to clarify, it was a delayed response from Councilmember Colin.
Thank you, right. It was a delayed response because of the online presence, and so we all are in agreement that that was a unanimous vote. I think that's it.
Motion to adjourn.
The ayes have it. There's a motion to adjourn, and so.
Point of order, just for clarification, there is a second executive session following this. We will not be having that. Okay, thank you.
If I could clarify, yeah, that executive session was moved to the front.
Wasn't sure if we had 2 or if we had another one. Just
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.